Hi, my name is Dr. Kerry Chapuzian, and this is Ask Dr. T. Today's question is, I've lost my libido, help me find it. So to start out with, let's go over some common causes of low libido. And we've got a list going right over here. And at the top of the list are sex hormone imbalance. So for women, what that is there's three hormones. There's estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone that all have to do with libido. So if you go to your family doctor and they put you on testosterone and you notice that it still isn't helping, it's because it's not just that. You really have to have all of your hormones checked. Get all your levels checked, and they all have to be balanced. For men, it's mostly testosterone, but you also have to be careful with estrogen and something else called DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone. And unfortunately, the older men get, the more estrogen that they make, which has a reverse effect on libido as compared to with women. So get your levels checked and replace what you need. The second on the list is medications. And there are a lot of very common medications that people take that will cause low libido. The first one on the list are anything for high blood pressure, the antihypertensive medications. And we've got a list down here too. The second are the antidepressants. For example, Prozac, Celexa, Lexapro. The two most common side effects of these medications are weight gain, which is depressing in and of itself, and loss of libido, And unfortunately, a lot of the reasons why people get put on these medications is because they've got a problem here with number one, with their hormone levels. So again, go back, get your hormone levels checked. More medications, the different heartburn medications, like Nexium, Prilosec, all these things can lower your libido. The non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, which means like the Motrins, the ibuprofens, the aspirins, they all can affect your libido. Antihistamines, antibiotics, these are all very common medications that are prescribed every day. All the different cholesterol-lowering medications, very common to lower libido. So if you're on a number of these different medications and you have low libido, the key is to try to get off these medications and to treat the underlying problem for why you're taking these medications in the first place. And then the last two, street drugs and alcohol, I'm not really going to talk about those, but those will also lower your libido. The next one on the list are neurotransmitter imbalances. And neurotransmitters are hormones basically in your brain. These levels can also be checked. One of the most common culprits is if you have low dopamine levels, which can cause low libido. And again, they can be checked, and different nutrients and foods can be used to balance your neurotransmitters. Adrenal fatigue, Adrenal fatigue is when your cortisol level and your DHEA, which are two other hormone levels, are low. They can be tested, and what happens is when these hormones are low, your stress hormones, if you will, they will affect, again, your sex hormones, because your body will try to make these hormones before your sex hormones. So you'll have a decrease in these. The key, again, is to check your levels and treat your adrenals. Low thyroid function. This is something that unfortunately is very common, and it's often missed because most physicians will just do a screening test on you to check to see if you have low thyroid function. If it comes back normal, the case is closed on thyroid. They don't think about it anymore. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that will have a normal blood test, but they have all the symptoms of low thyroid function. And just for some information, if you have low libido and you have any of these symptoms up here, which are the 6 most common signs for low thyroid, then you need to start thinking about your thyroid again. And these are fatigue, depression, muscle aches and pains, cold intolerance, dry, puffy skin, and constipation. So if you've got any of these plus low libido, think thyroid. The next on the list, and I'm actually going to put these two together, are heavy metal toxicities like mercury, lead, cadmium, antimony, there's a ton of them, and environmental toxins. Different toxins will affect the hormone-producing glands in your body, like your thyroid gland, like your sex hormones, your adrenal glands. And so the key is to check levels to see if you're toxic, which unfortunately most of us are to a certain extent, and to do certain treatments to get rid of these different toxins so that your other hormones start working better. Lack of fuel is important. If you're not eating the right foods, if you're not taking the right nutrients, you're not able to fuel yourself, or if you will, fuel your libido. And I'm just listing here just some common things that are very important to take. Amino acids, protein is very important. Carnitine, coenzyme Q10, magnesium, lipoic acid. And again, these are all levels that can be checked through a blood test. The last two coming up, candida infection. So what's candida? Candida is yeast or mold, and people can have an overgrowth of it in their body. All right? And it can cause low libido. It can also cause a number of symptoms down here. So again, if you have any of these symptoms, you might want to think of that you may have an overgrowth of candida in your system. Fatigue, digestive symptoms, headaches, muscle joint pains, chemical sensitivities, food sensitivities, very common. Sugar cravings, that's also a very common one. Memory loss, sexual dysfunction or low libido, and depression. Okay? And of course, the last one is inadequate sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, it's going to affect your libido. How much is enough sleep? You really need to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep per night. I know many people out there, you're going to say, well, there's no way I can get that much sleep, but you've got to try, at least try to get that much sleep per night. So let's say you go to your family doctor and you tell him you have low libido, and he tells you, you know, you're just getting old like the rest of us. That's just a natural part of aging. Well, you tell him to go to hello. Are there any questions out there? There's a question. Well, you can email me at askdrt@gmail.com, or you can go to our website at www.cfhll.com. My name's Dr. Kerry Topouzian, and this has been Ask Dr. T.